Hi guys, Coach Tiffany here. So I wanted to hop on and talk a little bit about dieting and eating plans and like supplement, nutrition shakes and all of that versus a personalized plan for wellness. So I posted on one of my networking groups this week about how we have these fears around working with wellness coaches and what their hesitancies are and what are the main concerns. And what a lot of people said was fear of failure. And that inspired me to write a blog, which will be coming out in the next couple days, about how we're not. It's not that we lack willpower. It's not that we are failures. It's that the dieting culture, has failed us. That the dieting culture out there really is, it's one size fits all. It is. Oh, hi there. Hey Kim, how you doing? It is really designed to make us feel bad about ourselves and about how we don't have willpower and we're emotional eaters and we struggle in these things and that it's our fault, right? So if it's our fault, then we need to get their help and purchase their products to then help us to, be better, right? To be good enough to finally get it, to find the final solution. And so I was talking with a friend of mine this morning about how there's so much conflicting information about out there and how it's all really designed to make us question ourselves and how no plan out there is ideal for me, right? Because I need a personalized plan. And so we were talking about how do you know who's the authority? What is the answer? And the authority is our own body, right? And listening to what works for our body. Unfortunately, there's so much noise out there. There's so many marketing gimmicks and products out there that were being sold, and food dogma, which was a new concept to me that someone. The concept isn't new to me, but the language food dogma was new to me that someone posted on that thread that I had in my networking group. And so, there's so much food dogma out there, like, this food is bad for you, this food, you can't eat this thing, and you can't have this, carbs are bad, and fat's bad, and all of these things are bad, that, it's really confusing about what we should and shouldn't be eating. So these diet plans or these, these kind of food eating plans, restrictive eating, basically, they just don't work. They don't work for anyone. Maybe they work for, maybe you can do it for 30 days or 60 days. But after that, it really, it becomes really challenging to maintain, either because they're not very satisfying, we're not getting enough calories or other nutrients that we need, or it's just not logistically realistic to always have exactly the perfect food on hand, to never eat any of the treat foods at a birthday party. We enjoy food, and food is important to our culture and to celebrations and to having some fun in our lives. When you go on vacation, food is a big piece of that, trying the local foods and maybe splurging a little, really enjoying meals, having satisfying meals. So I guess what I'm saying is that you're not a failure, that the diet industry has failed us and has, basically they make $66 billion a year off of us feeling inadequate and unsure of ourselves. And so shifting from the idea that we need the perfect food plan that really isn't designed for us. It's either designed, a lot of times if it's a woman, it's a plan that's actually designed for a man, or it's designed for someone on paper, right? Like in theory, what food would be good for them. We need to shift out of that into recognizing that we are individuals and we need a personalized plan that works for us. And that's where learning body trust and intuitive eating skills really is important. And it's also where health coaches, or a coach like myself, I'm a nurse and an integrative coach, can really be supportive, right? So what we can do is help assess what that person needs and what challenges they might have in conjunction with their physician, or help them get a physician if they don't have one. So for example, my friend, we were talking this morning, she's anemic. And so, I was saying, this plan of like eating, maybe you need to carb load and then run and do all of these things. Well, if you're exhausted, you might actually just need more sleep first. Like that might be the biggest priority, is getting enough sleep and then getting your iron levels up, getting the nutrients you need in. So lots of leafy greens and vitamin C and iron will help someone who's anemic start to boost their hemoglobin and have more energy. Then once you have more energy, you can focus more on preparing the foods and getting the good exercise in and these things, right? So recognizing that we're all individuals and that we are not failures, that if a plan didn't work, it's because it wasn't either the right plan for us or it was, just long-term not realistic. I also don't believe in, using products very much. I'm not associated with any product. Really, wellness comes from eating real food regularly, consistently. Sometimes it comes from supplementation, depending on, what your specific, your physiology, what's going on with your body specifically, and what your doctor recommends. So, for example, vitamin D, most of us here in the Northwest really benefit from vitamin D supplementation. But if you're living in Florida, something like that, you may not need that. So again, back to, this one-size-fits-all plan that we all feel like we failed to achieve because we couldn't do it perfectly for the rest of our lives. And just knowing that that's not realistic and that's not going to work for us can help us shift out of that fear of failure and into recognizing that our bodies are the authority and that we can honor our bodies. And also, a lot of the time, having some support from a coach that is the right person who's going to really understand that you are an individual and who has the skills to assess what your actual needs are, and learn, and someone who is able to recognize. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to talk to you guys, but I'm like this mass email or text, group text from my family. And so I'm getting like text after text after text. Anyway, so back to finding the right coach. If you really have struggled in the past and you feel like you need some support and that focus and intentionality, a coach can be hugely helpful. But I do recommend, finding somebody who's not necessarily associated with any product so that they can be unbiased. A lot of times if you're associated with a product, you're going to be recommending it more, even if it's not necessarily the best fit for someone. So, someone who has the training and the skills and the background to assess kind of what's going on with you medically, to assess what your where you're at in terms of readiness for change and what kind of pace and learning style you have. Someone who's going to personalize that plan that in a way that's going to fit your needs and help you be successful rather than contribute to you feeling like a failure, right? So you're not a failure. The dieting industry has put a lot of effort into confusing us all and making us all feel like we are not the authority that they are and that we need to follow the rule of the week. And instead, we really need to go back to the classic, right? What does our body want and need, and how do we support our bodies as individuals? Because we all have different genes, we all have different things going on with us in terms of our physiology, and we need to support where we're at, also emotionally, stress-wise. How big our families are. Whether we like to prepare foods. There's so many different factors. So getting individualized support that really takes into account you will help you be more successful than trying to follow, some super restrictive, crazy diet that just doesn't work. All right. I hope this was helpful. I like hopping on here. If you guys ever have any questions for me, drop them in the comments. I do love to see who is here. So just tell me hi, where you're at. And, if any of this was inspiring for you, I'd love to hear how you are individualizing your health goals to fit your own needs. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.